Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is episode 10 of building the Citadel in LEGO. In this update, I was able to make a lot of progress on the extraction zone and updated some of the lighting in the MOC as well. So there's a lot of important stuff to get into, but before we get started, I just want to give a huge special thanks to my channel members, Rich Boy J, Daniel Ross Lego, and Psycho Stormtrooper. If you guys are interested in supporting the series as well as my channel in general, channel memberships are a great way to do that. If you click the join button, you'll see kind of what I offer. Most of it is just behind the scenes content, although I am working on doing some more exclusive members only videos in the future. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and give that a look. And also a huge special thanks to LightMyBricks for being a sponsor of the series. Most of the lights that you see in this MOC are from LightMyBricks, and a good portion of them were sent over by LightMyBricks specifically for this series, so a huge special thanks to them. Like I said in my last video, I'm trying my best to get this MOC completed by the end of the year. I'm not sure if that's going to be possible, but I am going to be trying my hardest to do that. So if you want to stay up to date on all the latest progress, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any new Citadel content. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. In the last video, I mentioned that I was out of the connecting cables from LightMyBricks to connect the different boards and lights. So what I did was, on their Black Friday sale, I went ahead and bought a bunch more connecting cables as well as other lighting components for the MOC. And they're finally in, so now we can go ahead and take a look at what I got. So as you can see, I got an extra battery pack. This is probably just going to be used for the top section of the MOC. And then I got 12 total purple bit lights. And because right now for the electricity, I'm just using the white lights, it doesn't really have the purple color that I want it to. So I went ahead and looked, and sure enough, they do have purple lights. So I'm really excited to see how that is going to look with all of the lightning pieces. And I went ahead and laid out the different scenes that I want to build in the MOC that I haven't gotten to yet, to figure out how many lightsabers I would need for each of them. And it turned out that I was actually short one blue lightsaber for what I'm planning, so I went ahead and picked up another one of those. And then I got an 8-port expansion board, and then the last 3 things that I got are just different lengths of the connecting cables. As I mentioned before, these are the things that I'm always running out of, so I went ahead and just got 12 more varying lengths, so I don't think I'll run into an issue with those anymore. As you'll remember from the last video, I finished the hallway over here with the magnet trap, and now, because of the lightsaber and the purple lights, this is the new look of the scene. As you can tell, the purple shining down on Anakin's face is much more pronounced. It looks so much better, and I actually bought enough lights that now there are 2 lights up there, because before it was just the 2 lightning pieces with 1 light, and it just wasn't really illuminating it enough. So now you can see Anakin is brightly purple, and I did actually give him a light up lightsaber. I was contemplating whether or not I should do this, but I just decided that it would add much more to the scene with there being a light up lightsaber, and because all of the other characters don't currently have their weapons because they're on the ceiling, it would just make more sense for there to be him with his lightsaber, which of course is what happens in the scene. He grabs his lightsaber and destroys the magnet at the top of the room, and everyone gets their weapons back. But this is just so nice. I'm so happy with this. It looks so much better than it did, and I just love the purple shining on his face. It just is so much closer to what I was envisioning. And now we can go ahead and take a look at some of the lights on the front side of the MOC. Alright, so it's been a while since we've taken a look at the front side, so I'll just give you guys a nice little look here at the front entry door and the vent up top. So this is basically what that looks like, and then going down you can see the purple now illuminating the lightning pieces, and it just looks so much more vibrant. As I said with the other room, it just looks so much better. And down here is what it looked like beforehand, with the white and the trans purple cheese slopes in front of the lights. So as you can tell, primarily the light that you see is just white, but now up here you can tell that it is very clearly purple coming from underneath. It's a little bit of a subtle change, but it's definitely worth it, and especially in person, It does show up a little bit less vibrant on camera than it does in person. So as I'm standing here looking at it, it definitely looks a whole lot better to me in natural lighting and everything. So I hope that it kind of comes through on camera, but that is what that's going to look like. So I'll go ahead and change out the rest of these lights at the bottom. And the other benefit of this is now I'm gaining an extra 9 or 10 light strands that I can use towards the rest of the MOC. So very excited about this, and it's actually kind of nice to take a look at the front of the MOC. I haven't seen it in a couple months, honestly, at this point, because when I put it back together, I had it flipped around the other way. So this is actually making me want to finish this MOC that much more. So super excited about all that. But now turning our attention over to the MOC, this is my first kind of prototype plan for the extraction zone. As you can see, I've been working on the rock wall that's going to be tracing out the rounded shape all the way around. Basically, the way I built this is just sections of long plates connected by hinges to get different kinds of angles to make the round shape. And then after I had those all kind of connected in there, I just went through and did some rock texturing on the top and bottom. And then when I kind of figure out exactly what I want, I'll go through and add in the purple and lavender colors to just bring more of that Citadel look all the way around into the back. But this is kind of the first iteration of the design, so I do still have to connect over on this side. So once I get that kind of situated, I can start working on the main rock in the middle here. Also, a quick little side note, I had these in the background of the last video briefly, but I didn't really take any time to show them. This is 2 bricks design for STAP, and obviously this is the Clone Wars blue. He does also have the Trade Federation brown, which is the version that I used for our Fortress Delta collaboration over the summer. But I really love this design. It's the closest to minifigure scale that I've seen while still looking really, really nice. All the details are very well captured. I've never really tried to design a STAP just because of how challenging it is. So when I saw this, I knew that I instantly had to build it. So I got 2 of those, one over here and one over there. These guys are going to be flying over the extraction zone, which is basically what you see in the scene, and that will be really, really awesome. So super excited to see how that looks. All right, so I've made a bunch more progress on this section, the extraction zone, obviously working on this round kind of circular outline for the rocks. And as you can see, I added in the purple and lavender patches of color. I did a lot, and I might end up taking out a few of them just because when I build this top section of rocks, I don't want that to have a much smaller concentration of purple. So I want it to all flow smoothly and everything. And as you can see, I also went through and connected it on this side and then did the trim work with the snot on top. So I can now cut this into the regular stud layout, like as you can see here, adding in a couple patches of color up here on the top. So it's going to be a little bit interesting with where the snot ends. Obviously, I don't want it to be super jagged how it is right now, so I might throw on some wedge plates or other kind of texturing pieces, just try and make that flow smoothly as well. But basically now what I'm working on, taking a break from that, is going to be the main extraction zone in the middle here. Obviously, I'm going to be trying to add in all those little spiky outcroppings on the island, but not exactly sure how I want to approach that. Then when that is done, I'll add in the string kind of going from the island to the mainland section, and then have some figures kind of crawling across it like we see in the show, and then have the STAPs kind of flying around as well. So this is what I've gotten done so far, and like I said, I'm going to continue working on this, hopefully get that nicely done and finished up before the end of the video. And then, yeah, we'll just go from there. Alright guys, well, I've made a lot more progress on the extraction zone section, and I'm super excited to be able to show you guys what it looks like. So here is the island in the middle of the extraction zone. I built this in pretty much one sitting, and I was actually pretty nervous with trying to figure out how to include the spikes, because it's just kind of a weird thing to build in Lego, but I came up with a design that I'm pretty happy with, which is just using some of these bigger rock slopes and having them tilted kind of at a 30-degree angle. As you can see, with the cheese slopes on the bottom there. That meets up nicely flat with the ground and just creates a nice spike. So basically my ideas were between doing something like this, which is obviously what I went with, or trying to build bigger spikes and then have those angled, and this just seemed like it would be easier, and especially to integrate into the rest of the build. As you can see, these are nicely integrated in there. They all kind of flow nicely in with the rest of the texturing. So really happy with this. The overall shape of the island is pretty much what I wanted. You know, it's a round shape and obviously has a bunch of those spikes. So those were the two main big things that I wanted to get right with this. And I added in a bunch more of that purple and lavender color. So that also will help to tie this in with the rest of the rockwork behind. And there was a couple interesting techniques that I had to use here on the rockwork to get everything to look right. As you can see here, there's a bunch of snot going on in this little section. And just as I mentioned earlier, with these being angled at that 30-degree angle, there's a couple other weird things going on here, such as in this section, there was a half plate gap that I just could not fill. So what I did was I just stuck a panel, as you can see right there, laid it on its side, and then just covered it up with other slopes and pieces like that. So then you don't really see the gap as much, and I think it flows pretty well. And just generally tried to do a couple of those angled slopes on every corner. And when it's viewed kind of at this 45-degree, which is where I want this to kind of be shot from, because of obviously the round rock wall going behind it, this is kind of what you see. So it just really flows nicely, and I'm honestly really happy with how this came out. Like I said before, this was one of the areas of the MOC that I was kind of nervous about, and honestly, I really couldn't be happier with how it came out. So this is going to be the extraction zone, and here's kind of what it looks like with figures on it. Obviously this isn't going to be the final figure posing for this, but just giving you guys kind of an idea for what it might look like. Obviously I threw on some of the characters. We got Captain Tarkin, one of the unnamed clones like I mentioned. We got Rex. Over here we got Ahsoka climbing across the string. And then Fives and Cody taking some shots at some of the STAPs that are flying around in this extraction zone area. So just adding in those few figures, obviously not as many as is going to be in the final result. It just adds so much life, really brings it all together. I threw on the lights as well, so you can kind of get some of that atmospheric lighting on the figures and the rocks and everything. Just really, really looks nice. This is probably one of my favorite areas on the MOC right now, obviously because it's new, but also just from how good this extraction zone turned out. I'm really, really happy with it and just super excited to see this in its fully finished state when I can finally start working on that big back rock wall. So this is the big progress for this video. Really happy with how everything is coming out, and this just really goes to show, to me anyway, that my forte is definitely in landscapes. I am still happy with the interior stuff that I've done, but definitely landscapes is where I get the most enjoyment. So really excited about the rest of this build. Obviously still need to work on the tower and finish up the interior, which is going to be a little bit more of a challenge than this was, but I'm just super excited and happy with the result of this extraction zone. And with that all being said, we can go ahead and wrap up the video. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for episode 10 of Building the Citadel. It's crazy that this series is already in double digits. I have been doing this for over a year now, but I took a pretty long break in between there, so it averages out to a little less than one episode per month. But it is crazy to see how far this MOC has come, and I'm super excited to see what it will look like when it's all said and done. Make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any new Citadel content. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.